I have proof that the Lions have taken over this town. Not that that's a breaking story. And Brad Spielberger joins us.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy post-opening day, everybody. A Locked On Lions podcast episode on a Friday, April 5th into Saturday, April the 6th. Matt Derry with you. Thanks for making us your first listen and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. It is the Locked On Lions on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. Follow us on Twitter at Derry Speaks, at Locked On Lions, Matt Derry Facebook fan page. And of course, thank you to those of you that subscribe and watch us each and every day for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. One of our everydayers I saw today downtown for opening day today, and that would be Chuck the Freak. Chuck Urquhart from the Riff, Dave and Chuck the Freak. Chuck's the best. And he and I were reminiscing about when I threatened to leave the podcast 2 years ago and quit. So great to see Chuck today downtown in Detroit. Brad Spielberger is going to join us. Brad is leaving Pro Football Focus. One of the best analysts, one of the best cap guys around. We love having him on the show. Brad's exiting stage left to take a new opportunity and a new job in the sports agency field. We're going to get an update from Brad momentarily right here on Locked On Lions. All right. Something happened today, and maybe you feel the same way if you were at Comerica Park today. And I want to open with that before we talk to Brad. And that is that today downtown at Comerica Park, as the Tigers beat the A's to improve to 5-1. And I was down in section 124, lower bowl, first base side, and I could see this start developing. We're sitting in our seats. A lot of people were standing. It was before the game. And all of a sudden, this big dude in a Tigers jersey comes walking out toward the mound. And one of the guys I was with today, Pat, says to me, "Who is that?" And I said, that's Penei Sewell. He's like, "Oh, wow. Okay." Pat gets up. He stands up. Everybody around me starts standing. Everybody around me starts standing up. And folks could now see who it was. Folks started recognizing. They started cheering. And the PA announcer says, "Hey, throwing out the first pitch, everybody, from the Detroit Lions." And he says Detroit Lions, and everybody in the stadium gave Penei Sewell a standing ovation as he was throwing out the first pitch. He's a right tackle. Now, Penei Sewell is extremely popular. Penei Sewell is arguably, you could make an argument he's the Lions' best player. First team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, just a mauler, a masher, an unbelievable right tackle. Arguably the best right tackle in football right now. All right? He's played, 2 years as a Lion? He's really, really good. Really, really good. We know this. But just more proof. And yes, the Tigers are off to a great start. And people love baseball in this city. It's a great baseball town. It is. The Red Wings play tonight. They're closing and I'm maybe making the playoffs. There's stuff in sports in this town that gets us. But nothing tops the Lions. Penei Sewell's an offensive lineman. And he got a standing ovation. It was insane. There wasn't a single person sitting down. There wasn't nobody. And I get it. It's opening day. Everybody's excited. Anybody that got honored got a nice ovation. People were standing for the first pitch. But Sewell and Penei threw a strike and flexed and the whole thing. And the crowd just loved it. And it just it's a testament to Sheila Fordham and the Lions front office and everybody that's associated with this franchise that, man, they've come so far that their players, no matter if it's an offensive lineman, whether it's a defensive lineman, safety, tackle, if it was Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Barry, whatever, Barry Sanders. But Penei Sewell getting that standing ovation just tells you all you need to know about how in love you guys are and this fan base is, whether it's even a baseball fan base at another sport with the Detroit Lions and their players. Because Penei Sewell, man, just got a massive ovation, and it was really, really cool. Then as I'm walking out of the stadium today, and we're just about getting to the exits after the game ends, Tigers won, and there's fans chanting Jared Goff, Jared Goff. We're walking out of the Tiger game. It just, like, the Lions have just taken this group of Lions. And look, I've been in this town since 96. I've been around winning Lions teams. Right? The Barry teams went to the playoffs. The Schwartz teams went to the playoffs. The Caldwell teams went to the playoffs. There's nothing like this though. Jared Goff chance, Sewell, not a fanny was in their seat for Sewell throwing out a first pitch. It's great. It is fantastic. I saw a ton of Hutchinson jerseys in the stadium during the Tiger game. And while it's a celebration of baseball and it's a celebration of, opening day and spring is here, and it wasn't too bad in terms of the weather today. But it was just really cool to see the kind of love that the Lions are getting in a scenario like it was today when Penei Sewell got that ovation. And then, like I said, hearing Jared Goff chants still, Jared Goff chants were going on in January at LCA for Wings or for Pistons. They were happening in Grand Rapids at a Griffins game. They were happening at Michigan State games, Michigan games. Still going strong on April the 5th at a Tigers home opener after the Tigers just won and fans are excited about their baseball team. First place baseball team. And people are still chanting Jared Goff. I just thought that was really, really awesome. And shout out to the Tigers. They no longer have those tube televisions in the concourse. They actually have flat screens. So that was pretty good. All in all, today was a lot of fun being downtown. I did a bunch of networking and went into a bunch of different places. Like I said, saw Chuck the Freak, went over to the Riff and saw them, Dave and Chuck and the crew over at the Fillmore. Shout out to CAM, Construction Association of Michigan, Kevin Kohler and the crew. Put on a great tailgate and just got a chance to talk to so many people. And some of the listeners, some of our listeners and viewers here on Locked On Lions also stopped me, which I appreciate. All of you, our everydayers, appreciate all of you that check us out each and every day right here on Locked On Lions. All right, Brad Spielberger, formerly now of Pro Football Focus, is going to join us coming up next right here on Locked On Lions. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. As promised, ladies and gentlemen, Brad Spielberger is with us. He has joined us for the last couple of years. We love having him on from Pro Football Focus, but now Brad is leaving. Care to tell us what's going on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So leaving the sports media space, but coming here to talk about contracts, obviously do a lot of work in free agency and going to go do that directly. Full-time now, work for an agency being the contract negotiator. It's called Grand Central Sports Management. So very excited for the opportunity. Hopefully the Lions draft one or two of our clients in this upcoming draft. But thank you for having me and looking forward to it.
So wait, this is huge. First of all, congratulations. I'm happy for you. This is crazy. How did this come about? This is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I put a lot of stuff out there and we do work, consulting for a lot of groups. So I've worked with a lot of people and, I'd like to think built up some credibility and cachet and just knowing what I'm talking about. I think the biggest thing I would say is there's more of a trend now across the entire agency space some people I know are going to hear this and be very confused. They'd be like, isn't negotiating a contract the entirety of what an agent does? You'd be surprised, but no. Recruiting and client management and marketing and all the other elements can take up so much time. So some of the bigger shops now have started to bring in people, lawyers like myself to be, hey, we focus on everything else. We'll still be involved in negotiation, but you'll do all the prep work for it. You'll have all the, market comparisons and all the, you'll be able to read through the deal and make sure the language is sound and all of those things. And that will be your full-time role for us. So, I'll do a little bit of recruiting here and there and help out where I can in other areas. But really, it's just at the end of the day, like I'm going to be the one going back and forth with the front offices on the deals themselves.
That's fantastic. So Grand Central Sports, is that based out of New York, or do you have to move? What's happening there?
Yeah, they are based out of New York, but I'll still be remote. I think a lot of agents these days, because you travel so much and all that, you live wherever you want to live. You try to be near, good programs and all that. But yeah, I'll still be remote regardless.
Well, it's exciting. It sounds like first of all, I didn't even know you were a lawyer. I just was like, where'd you go to law school, by the way?
Yeah. I went to Tulane Law School. So yeah, I am an attorney, if you will,
Wow.
which is like a big sports law program down there. It's part of how I got connected to PFF as well. That's a whole long backstory, but yeah. So use the law degree a little bit in some of the stuff we did, but now going to be using it a whole lot more going forward.
Well, that's fantastic, Brad. You've been awesome to us, and obviously going through Dave and getting to know you. This is exciting. It's a great step for you. You mentioned before about the Lions. Are any Lions clients of theirs already, or do you know offhand?
I think off the top of my head, the answer would be no right now. It's funny. I still have to get fully up to speed, but I know we're hoping to have 5 or 6 kids drafted this year. So maybe there will be a Lion in the near future.
That's fantastic. All right. So I haven't had John in a while, but real fast, just on free agency and where the Lions are right now. Certainly some nice pickups, all sort of not bargains, but certainly not big, crazy deals. And there's some fans certainly here, Brad, going, why didn't the Lions go get a Stephon Diggs? Why didn't the Lions go get a Danielle Hunter? But Brad Holmes has stayed conservative, yet feels like he's added a lot of pieces. What do you think?
No doubt about it. I mean, he is a draft and develop guy, and I think when the time comes, they'll make their splashes here and there. The Rams, when they felt they were close, obviously pushed the chips in. I'm not saying they're going to do that to that degree, but that you want to build your foundation, build your core through your draft picks, which they've clearly done a very good job of. I also would say, look, you're going to get Amon-Ra St. Brown making $27, $28 million a year. You're going to get Jared Goff probably getting a new contract as well. If that does happen, I think it'll be around $50 million a year too. So I love what they did. I actually think they had a phenomenal offseason. Yeah, like you said, smaller moves, but to me, a Kevin Zeitler is a phenomenal pickup at right guard, a proven veteran, an incredible pass protector, and then DJ Reader. So to me, it's the trenches, but DJ Reader is awesome. Lions fans are going to love this guy right out of the gate. As soon as he's healthy from that hamstring or quadricep, whatever it is, one of the best run defenders in the NFL in the interior, has some juice as a pass rusher, pocket pushing type. And then, of course, trade, not free agency, but Carlton Davis is a good player as well.
You look at it, Brad, and obviously the secondary still might be a concern, the Cam Sutton situation, but then they go out, they keep Mosley, they're bringing back Vildor. Do you sense at 29 that a corner could still be the pick, or are you thinking more maybe wide receiver, or so maybe even to safety or something else?
I think it's possible that corner could be on their mind at 29. I think those guys in the first round are going to drop a little bit. Like, I think we might go 15 picks or so before the first corner comes off the board. I like Quinion Mitchell out of Toledo a ton. Maybe viewed as more of a zone corner right now, but I think he has the chops to play man and do more with an Aaron Glenn defense. Terry Arnold out of Alabama. Obviously, people talk about him a bunch. Might be the first corner taken. I love Kool-Aid McKinstry, the other guy at Alabama. It's funny to call him the other guy, considering he was a starter as a freshman, which is a rarity in that secondary. But he's a good player. Nate Wiggins at Clemson, a little bit skinnier, but he plays above his weight. I like him a lot too. So I do think corner at 29 would make sense, where maybe the board doesn't fall their way at other spots, but they're saying, hey, we're getting the second, third corner off the board maybe at 29 in the first round. Otherwise, yeah, receiver obviously would make plenty of sense.
Yeah, Kool-Aid was in town yesterday, and like you said, probably didn't have his best year last year, but 2 years ago, you'd say, oh my gosh, if this guy was able to come out, he'd probably be a top 15 pick, right?
I think so for sure. And I think the knocks on him too aren't even so much the play. He's just not a premier athlete, but it's also like we get so lost in the shuffle of, these guys are still tier 1 athletes. They're just not the elite players. But allegedly at his pro day, he ran the mid to high 4.4s, which is totally fine. I think he's the best mirroring corner in the entire class. I think most people would tell you that. Like, he has the chops to play up and man, bump and run, trail technique coverage, can play in zone as well. Bama mixes their coverages a bunch. I think he's a perfect fit. I've done one mock draft. I guess it'll be my only mock draft this year, but I had Kool-Aid McKinstry at 29 going to Detroit.
Yeah, you and me both. I still don't. I look at it and go, who knows? With Brad Holmes, and again, now that Josh Reynolds is gone, yeah, they brought DPJ back, but I think one of those receivers, those late first round receivers, and there's a lot of them. I think that might be where they go. Who are some of your favorites that might be at 29?
Yeah, no, I think it would make a lot of sense because we all know it's a phenomenal class, and I guess they could address it later. But again, if it falls your way, maybe you do it. So to me, if A.D. Mitchell out of Texas is still there at 29, and look, the questions about him seem to be more about like effort and some non-talent things because look, he's 6'2", 6'3", ran a mid-4 340 at the combine. You see it on tape. He can separate really, really well. Not the greatest route runner, but certainly a good one. And you could tell he could be a great one based on what you've seen so far. He can, there's a couple of clips of him just burning players off the line or creating late separation, good late hands, things like that. I would love that pick. I'm also super high on Troy Franklin out of Oregon. I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick. It seems like people think he's going to fall to that early second range where so many receivers seem to go, but also a guy a little bit skinnier, slender frame. He does get bumped at the catch point a little bit. Not as good of a contested catch guy as an A.D. Mitchell, but I think also might have the most nuanced and developed route tree of any of these guys beyond that top three, cluster everyone's in love with. He's a really, really nuanced technical player. He can also make plays on the sideline, toe tapping, all that too. So those guys, I think would make a lot of sense.
Final thing for Brad, Vegas has the Lions at 10.5 wins. You going over or under?
Ooh, it's interesting. I probably would lean to the over. I would skew to the over, but I'm guessing they're hedging their bets on just how this NFC North is going to shake out. It's not going to be as easy as it was last year. And obviously, they didn't sweep the division last season either, but Green Bay is going to be a battle. And they're not going to go into Green Bay and kick their butt like they did last year. Maybe they do. Hopefully they do. But I think it's going to be a tougher game. And then, Minnesota, we got to see what the quarterback situation shakes out like. But their defense should be better. And then Chicago, of course. Obviously I'm a Chicago guy. Like they should be a better football team, even with a rookie quarterback. I believe that. So I would take the over. I would. I think they are still one of, if not the best teams in the NFC. Right up there with San Fran and the others. But, maybe they're just trying to, hedge their bets for some improvement across the board for other teams.
Brad, we can't thank you enough for all that you've done on the show, and I always love having you on. You're always willing to do it. And best of luck in the new venture, man. It should be fun. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you a ton. We certainly will. I appreciate you.
Always great talking to Brad Spielberger. That is for sure. Hey, we want to tell you about our friends at Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you can still have an IRA? Robinhood is the only IRA that gives you a 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to their IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at Robinhood.com/boost. That's Robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024 validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of first 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. 3% matching on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, is a registered broker-dealer. So great having Brad Spielberger on, at least for now, the last time since he was at PFF. We'll hopefully check back in with Brad throughout the season and everything else if he elects to come on, but now working for Grand Central Sports as an agent and being a part of an agency. Not sure he's going to be doing a ton of interviews, but we loved having Brad on the show. Brad said something very interesting, though, folks. Two things. Number one, Jared Goff, and as he said, the Lions are not going to break the bank for outside free agents because they want to take care of their own. They had to take care of their own with Graham Glasgow. 2 years ago, they took care of their own with Anzalone. They've kept guys around over the years, Romeo Quara, among others. got the new contract and such. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to command between 25 and 30 million. And as he said, Jared Goff, and he said this, Brad just said it, and I'm sure some of you went, whoa, 50 million a year. Don't think that's not a possibility. It is a possibility. Is Jared Goff worth that kind of money? You could probably argue either way. You could say $50 million a year. But remember this, who's better, Jared Goff or Deshaun Watson? Deshaun Watson's making $45 million a year. All right. And got $230 million guaranteed from the Cleveland Browns. Unheard of, right? Jared Goff's better. Deshaun Watson has shown nothing in 2 years in Cleveland so far, other than getting injured. Obviously only played the back half of last year because of the suspension, or 2 years ago. And then this past year, the Browns excelled without him. Made the playoffs with their fourth quarterback, Joe Flacco. So yes, it's real. Jared Goff could be commanding something around $50 million. And to be quite honest with you, the Lions have to pay it. You cannot squabble over, let's say the Lions think he's worth 40. Him and his camp think they're worth 50. Can't squabble over 10 million bucks. For you and me and guy on the street and the guy working, behind the counter somewhere, sure. That's amazing money, crazy money, oh my gosh money. But when it comes to NFL quarterbacks, they get paid, even if they aren't great quarterbacks. Is Kirk Cousins a great quarterback? What's he getting from the Falcons? 40 million? So Jared Goff, in some people's eyes, is very good. In other people's eyes, is great, whatever it is. But he's going to command that kind of money. And the Lions don't have a plan B. They're not going to let Jared Goff walk after this year. Why? All he's done is won. 2 winning seasons back to back for Jared Goff as the Lions quarterback. And he continues working with Ben Johnson in this offense to excel and do quite well. The other thing that Brad brought up is the NFC North. And yes, it will be better. But one thing that Brad didn't say that I want to add to his conversation is 10.5 wins, over, under, whatever you want to do. It's not the division, to me, that scares me on the win total. It's the entire schedule. It's having to go back to San Francisco. It's having to go back to Dallas. It's going to have to be playing many a night game in prime time, whether it's at night, whether it's the 425 window, whatever. Teams now have circled Detroit on their schedule. That hasn't happened in years. It hasn't. So Lions having to play some tough opponents. Buffalo again. Buffalo coming in. Like I said, Houston, Indy. Houston's loaded. It's not going to be an easy walk, cakewalk like last year was when you got to play Carolina and Tampa and Atlanta. All right. The NFC South was god awful. New Orleans was horrible. The Raiders, joke. All right. Schedule this year is much, much more difficult. By the way, we talked to Brad about receiver. I'm leaning towards thinking Brad Holmes is really thinking receiver at 29. Now, I could be totally wrong and off base, but there's smoke screens. There's all these defensive backs the Lions are bringing in to work out. I think if there's a speedy guy at 29 there, I think that's where the Lions go. We talked yesterday about Tyler Boyd, a free agent that the Lions have some interest in, hasn't signed anywhere yet. But losing Josh Reynolds, not that it's that big of a deal. And oh my gosh, the Lions don't have Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is a very good football player, but replaceable. And I think there's a chance that if there's somebody there that can make a high impact, somebody they think can be a speed burner, that can get down the field and make catches, and be a weapon opposite of Jameson Williams on the other side as an X or a Z receiver. I think that's where the Lions might go at 29. Now, I'm probably going to change my mind next week and go, nope, they're taking a corner, but I'm just throwing it out there. All right. Thanks to Brad Spielberger for coming on. Thanks to all of you guys for listening, making us your first listen. And please tell your friends, if they don't know about Locked On Lions, to check us out. I get some really nice shout outs from some of you on Twitter at Derry Speaks. Our friends at Pride of Detroit do their POD cast. And I guess it's ending or something due to something with Bleacher Report. I don't know. I don't have all the details. You know how I feel about prideofdetroit.com. Jeremy, Eric, everybody there is awesome. I'm on their site every day. But I guess their podcast is going away. They'll probably resurrect it somewhere else. But a lot of you shouted out saying, hey, no more POD cast, but we still listen to Locked On Lions or whatever. I appreciate all of you that chimed in on that yesterday on Twitter at Dairy Speaks. That'll do it for us for this week. We're back again with fresh shows next week. I was downtown today, walked right by Monroe and that area near Greektown where the stage is going to be for the draft. Oh my gosh. Looks awesome. So it's very, very exciting. But Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for another great week, everybody. We will talk to you again on Monday right here on Locked On Lions.